Hey guys, alright, this one's going to be an interesting one. This is going to explain pretty much the entirety of what you need to know to super boost the S95B to its max peak luminance and give it a decent base luminance to go with that, along with my new current settings that fully boost what it can look like. Now, we've gone through a bunch of different evolutions of the picture when adjusting this. Now, the absolute biggest, was when somebody had pointed out that when you go to advanced, well, normally you click on it, it does nothing. You've got to go to it and then hold the up button on the volume on your remote. Hold up on volume for like 5 to 7 seconds and it will open up these little sub menus here. They just pop up out of nowhere like magic. Because Samsung, they tricky, they hit them. Well, guess what? We found them. And because we found them, you know what we can do? We can go to EPA. And then we can go to A95K 2. And before we go to A95K 2 and do the adjustment that you see right here, I'm going to warn you that I no longer have VRR on this TV. I have a Samsung tech coming to look at it tomorrow in the hopes that he will fix it. And if not, c'est la vie, because guess what? After I've done everything I've done to this TV, I'd be willing to bet folding money that I would smoke an A95K with my S95B now. I guarantee it. If you set them side by side with the way it is right now, oh man, I've never even seen an A95K. I would put $100 on it. I would. Only for the fact that I know what this looks like. I know what it can do. And I've seen people react to an A95K and they're impressed. But trust me, what this does now, my God. Okay, now, this is going to do something special. When you bring this back, it uncaps the brightness. That's the thing that really hurt this panel with the updates to begin with. Shame on you, Samsung. You suck for that. You did that specifically to make your A95C look like the shit, when in fact it was going to be the shit anyway. You didn't have to do this, but you did it anyway, and screw you for that. Anyway, let's move on. We had to go through a bunch of shit to figure this out on our own, and now guess what? We can bring it back. Now, like I said, this could break VRR. I don't know if this had something to do with my VRR crapping out or not, but I no longer have working VRR, and I've had people report in my comments that the Luminance could have an effect on the VRR. So, take however you want with that. Whatever the case is, everything you see here is the settings that I chose to do with my TV, and what you choose to do with your TV is your choice. And if anything happens, please keep in mind that is entirely on you. But I'm telling you now, with what I have going, the imagery, the movies, for me, it was absolutely worth it. Alright, bring that up to 1023. Once you got A95K 2 up to 1023, I've got my base luminance under control, down to QD2 option, down to PLC default luminance, and I had opened that to 70. It used to be a little bit higher. I found with the peak brightness being boosted, it brings out like a lot of highlights across the board the way I end up pushing my settings. So it actually helped to bring the default luminance boost that I had originally had at 75, which was good for what I had going at the time, down to the 70 I have it now. That just seems to work with the overall contrast and helping improve the impact that I was looking to do. Anyway, so I've got PLC default luminance, which, like I said, typo for luminance. I highly doubt it's a typo, probably intentional by Samsung to confuse you. And once you have all that, all you have to do is turn off your TV and turn it back on. If you don't know how to access the service menu without a service remote, you just need the SmartThings app. Once you have the SmartThings app and connect it to your TV, hit the little banner at the bottom for the remote, and then push the 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the third option to the right on the banner at the bottom, and that will bring up a dial pad. On that dial pad, all you have to do is type all you have to type is mute 119, enter. And then it brings up a hospitality menu, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 on that dial pad. After you type 1234, it'll bring you into the service menu I just had you at, and then you can just use your remote to navigate around. All you have to do is like go down to highlight the advanced option and hold up on the volume button in order to get that sub secret menu to pop up after a few seconds. Anyway, now if I bring up some HDR content so I can bring up the HDR settings, and I'm not recording this in 4K. That's a change of pace only for the fact that I'm limited on how long I can do my recordings on 4K on my phone to 5 minutes, and I know this is going to go, in fact, yeah, it's already beyond 5. Yeah, the last one I barely squeezed in everything I had to say, and I knew I wanted to squeeze a lot into this. This was pretty much going to be a full-on description of what we went through. Now, at least for the adjustments in that menu, and I'm also going to walk you through the white point adjustments that I had made. There were some separate color adjustments we had made under Picture QD2. I'm not going to worry about that. I'm pretty sure we undid that with white point adjustments I end up making in a menu that you'll end up making here if you want to mimic my settings. Alright, a good example, let's see, what's this? Puss in Boots is probably a decent example. Actually, maybe something live action. I know this will look good on here one way or another, but I know usually something live action is going to pop a little bit better to show people looking to get by way of what's going to come together. Let's put on a good. Okay, now I probably should back the phone away. If I show too much actual footage, YouTube will happily delete all my stuff. In fact, I think I can back up just a hair. Yeah, there we go. That actually helps a whole lot. I've noticed if you keep it in a smaller window, YouTube algorithm won't pick up the movie a lot of the time. So I can have that playing and it shouldn't be an issue. Alright, now that we are here, I can bring up the menu and because yeah, this isn't really a HDR demonstration as much as just bringing up the settings so that you can see where we're at now. Now, right now I have my brightness always at 50, contrast at 43. God, actually everything's so bright you can hardly see it because I don't have the HDR recording running. Alright, I'm sorry, brightness at 50, contrast at 43, sharpness at 19, color at 46, tint at 0. I always have my clarity settings maxed out to 10 just because I don't believe in what people call soap opera effect. I mean, I know that there was a time on like older, shittier TVs that you had to worry about that sort of thing with like ghosting and crap, but now it just makes your stuff look nice and smooth when it moves around, and I like that. I don't like judder and stutter, and you get that with OLEDs, and screw that. You don't need that. And with the settings I have, any artifacts or whatnot that would have been introduced through that, they're gone. They're gone. Trust me. I'm looking at absolute flawless 3D imagery with what I have going right now. I have a contrast enhancer on low, color tone on warm 2, which that's actually a bit of a mix-up from what I had before, but I found with my current white point settings, it comes together well. The current 2 points at 3, the 2-point red gain at 3, green gain at 2, blue gain at 6, red offset at 6, green offset at 2, and blue offset at 3. With the 20-point settings looking at intervals at 35%, with red on 6, green on 4, and blue on 5. Gamma, I found that boosting that to 1, shadow detail up to 5, which I used to have that down for before the brightness boost, but with the brightness boost it fills in that gap in a degree that it lights it up. It lights it all up in a way it doesn't take away from the 3D impact I'm looking for, and I love it. I absolutely love it. Shadow detail on full 5 with this set the way it is. Color space in native as usual, and peak brightness on a high, of course. That's the total of the settings I've got running right now. And I'm telling you, it's the best I've ever seen this TV look. But like I said, we did go a few extra things with going into the, I think it was picture 2D under advanced in the service menu, and I had copied one of the gentleman's color mapping settings um, from his updated 1310 panel that he had done a recording of, and I had put that into my panel, and it had came out oversaturated. And then I went to my white point. My white point was just, it was back down to 0 again, like I had never touched it to begin with. And I had to put the white point that you just saw back into it. And once I put it back into it, it came together perfect, absolutely perfect. I would say you could probably sidestep the whole, like, I would definitely add the color, the white point balances that you see in here, and see how that goes. And if it doesn't come together like I'm seeing, then you may need to go through and put in the that picture 2D color matte stuff, and then put in the white point after it clears out the white point again. But I don't think that'd be necessary. I recall this being fine with, as long as you go through and put the colors in to begin with. I just had to go through and see if I could get those original color saturations back from the update. It didn't come together the way we were trying to do. But the way that I have it set now, oh, it is absolutely glorious. All the settings you saw, if you put them in your panel, I promise it'd be the best looking thing you've ever seen, at least for now. But like I said, it comes at a risk. Mine costed PRR. I've had other people tell me that they haven't, that they're still doing fine. So I don't know if that has something to do with anything else I've done with this panel, which I have done a few things, but not too terribly much. But still, this is everything I've got going for it. I figured I would share what I've learned. If you want to make your S95B as absolute maxed out as it can possibly be, and I know that sounds like absolute just shit talk, hyperbole, whatever, it's not. It's not. I'm sitting here looking at the best looking imagery I've ever seen in my life, and it's because it's set exactly the way it's set right now. And even after the Samsung rep comes along and fixes my VRR tomorrow, guess what? I'm going to go through and try to make sure that I don't touch anything but exactly what I need to put it right where I have right now, because I won't go without this again, even if it ends up costing me VRR again. With any luck, I'll end up putting this through in a way that that won't happen. But yeah, it's I'm telling you, it's totally worth it. All right, now as always, when you see anything in a recording, especially when I'm recording in non-HD or non-4K and it's not even HDR or anything, it's gonna oversaturate the hell out of the color. So take what you see with a grain of salt. I usually show this for like more cleanness and 3D impact sort of thing. But yeah, all right, guys. I wanted to thank every single person that has taken the time and effort to go into their panels to figure all this stuff out with me, and to come together with me to help everybody that owns this thing make it look as good as it possibly can. In fact, not only that, but the best looking thing on earth at the moment. Well, I see on the market at the moment, at least. I'm sure micro LED might give it a run for its money, but yeah. All right, guys, try these settings at your own risk and tell me what you think if you do. I hope it changes your experience. It has mine. It's changed my entire. Before, the entire goal was to make my TV look as good as my phone. You know how stupid that sounds? I have a OnePlus 8 Pro. I got this 2 years ago. It's treated me amazing for this entire 2 years. It's 120 hertz AMOLED 1440p display that has just been amazing. Not a scratch on it after 2 years, multiple drops, and hell, it's waterproof. I can take it in the shower with me if I want to and jam out. I love this phone. But it is so clean and 3D looking, even with SDR content running to it, that I have people tapping me on the bus regularly asking me, like, why the hell my phone looks like this. And it's specifically because my phone pushes at 1600 nits on its AMOLED display. When it's running virtually anything on it, it looks 3D. That's half because of all of that the infinite contrast with that peak brightness, but it's also half because of a update that I received on my phone about a year ago that boosted the RAM on this phone so that the processing just went through the freaking roof. It's a 12 gigabytes of RAM phone to begin with, but it gave it an extra 7 gigs, so yeah, I'm up to 19 gigabytes of RAM, and a lot of that just sounds like crap when it's software updates or whatnot, and you usually don't see a performance difference. But when I received this, I wasn't thinking anything of it at first, but after I started watching my movies, they didn't look the same anymore. I mean, they always looked, fucking amazing, better than any TV I'd ever seen, but the processing had stepped up to a level that I had trouble imagining TVs even catching, even on OLEDs that I had seen. And, that's when it had me wondering, damn, like, can I even get my TV to this level? And it's been a journey this entire time trying. There are certain aspects of this TV it could always surpass, mostly the color gamut, obviously. Um, but the processing of my phone is just so good. It makes the image look so clean, and plus you've got the PPI with it. That's the pixel density on the phone, and that only adds to it. But still, when you're sitting back from the TV, you still have a decent pixel density going on, where it's not like you're seeing the pixels or anything. So, I mean, it's not like that's a huge impact, but it does add a little something extra to it. And I guess that's the whole point of 8K and 16K and so forth. But it's not like any movie creators are going to be thinking about that stuff for another, 7 years anyway. Alright, well, I think I've rambled on enough, guys. I wanted to give you an idea of everything, and I really hope that if any of you guys try this, that it works out well for you, and that you drop in the comments what it does, how it does for you, if it looks great, if I'm full of shit. If you think I'm full of shit, please let me know I'm full of shit. But honestly, if you try this and you see it, and once again, I know a lot of people see the color setting at 46 and they immediately freak the fuck out. If you don't have this TV and you haven't tried these settings, don't even try to talk. You don't have a clue what the hell I'm looking at right now. Alright, guys. Well, thanks a lot for everything. All of it. I mean it. Thank you. This has motivated me, like, all the extra input that I've received from people that I've heard that have suffered at the hands of Samsung through this damn update. That to know that there are answers, there are ways to fix it, to make it even beyond what it was. We shouldn't have to go through all this. We shouldn't. I mean, it's ridiculous that we had to. And if you do decide to go through this journey and make it as awesome as those of us that have decided to make it this way have, welcome to the club. It's awesome. Alright, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you like. Later.